So we're 1 week into the launch of New World, and I'm seeing a lot of conversation and debate going around just the simple concept of, does New World need mounts? And so welcome everybody to the channel. My name's Brian if you're new around here, and returning subscribers, you look smashing, and might I say, really smashing today. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments at the start of these discussion videos. And that's what we're talking about. Mounts in New World. Where do you weigh in? Like, sound off below. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you feel I earn it, like that smash button down below, and let's dive into it. First things first, I like mounts. I have enjoyed mounts in MMOs, and especially when Final Fantasy XI added mounts, I actually really enjoy that. There is a fun aspect to the collection game of what a mount offers. But my feelings aside for my enjoyment for mounts from the games that I've played, Final Fantasy XIV and 11 aside, I think the best mount system that I've experienced in any MMO RPG to date is Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 has the best mount system that I've ever experienced. And so when you start asking me when I start reading a lot of these threads that say New World needs mounts, we need mounts today, we need it now, I go, why? What is the purpose of the mount? I think having a mount where you could just mount up anywhere in the game itself would fundamentally break PvP. Like, it really sets a differential between the winners and the losers, because travel is a key aspect of this game. So let's just kind of break it down. First and foremost, you have Azoth, you've got fast travel points, and then you have the travel time between towns. As you've unlocked those towns and as you actually get homes in those towns, you end up creating kind of this little mini network of ways to get around the any particular map incredibly fast. But it does require some level of exploration. So first and foremost, I would hate for that exploration aspect to be broken and taken out of the game. And so if we were ever going to like add mounts to the game itself, like, I have that kind of a power and authority, but if that was ever going to occur at any degree, I would personally say you have to like achieve something in terms of unlocking the fast travel points in the different cities before you were even eligible to go on the quest to get a mount in this game. A caravan system would allow you as a player to either purchase, a ride and let it auto run you. You could ride along into another town. Now, where this could go in 1,000 different degrees or ways, I slapped the mic here, would be that maybe that caravan could come under attack. So not necessarily is it pure AFK and win mode, but the ultimate idea is that you unlock the ability, instead of having to port with Azoth, to have a time to travel that might be a little bit faster than running to any particular location yourself. I think overall, if they were ever going to do something like that or a mount system, there's got to be some form of fee. One of the really cool aspects that the game offers, it comes into play of kind of materials. The game is constantly asking you for materials, even like basic materials that you find everywhere to rare materials that obviously take a little bit of effort to get. And where this comes into play, like even with housing and the markets and the town boards and more, like, it's all an integrated system. So just tying this back to the Guild Wars 2 concept again, within New World, if they ever do decide to add mounts, like let's say they add in more zones, and eventually the world just becomes so incredibly massive that, yeah, having a mount might make a big difference, that there's got to be some sort of upkeep fee, something that kind of says that, yes, you can have this mount, but there's a cost to having this mount, just like there's a cost to firing an arrow and using a bullet in the game itself. And so I think there's got to be some level of balance, but the devs have already spoken on this, and right now their answer is no, there's no mounts in the game. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, because they asked, and we all pretty much responded, take your time. If you're going to add a mount system to New World, make it a really cool mount system. And it doesn't have to use any of the ideas, obviously, with kind of like some kind of upkeep fee that I'm presenting here for you today, but make it something really unique. Because I think essentially, and this is where I start to lose people, I think that overall with MMORPGs, one of the things that New World does so incredibly well is it really kind of gets away from the cookie cutter mold that what World of Warcraft established, without going so far that you don't understand the core concept of what this game is. There are some things that you might think that one game has it, better over another, and that's always a great discussion that I love talking about. I can say like, hey, what Final Fantasy does really well is it has this great narrative story that it builds and it builds and builds over expansion. And that's something I really appreciate as a longtime player. But we have to be honest of downsides, right? So when it comes back to mounts, I don't think New World needs mounts today. Would I like to see mounts in the game at some point in the future? Well, of course. Like, I like more things to collect. I'm loving collecting the various book pages, and so the kind of the collector in me with these games gets excited by that aspect. But I would love to see some type of, like, obviously, like, taming system in place, some type of grooming. Like, when you think of all the gathering and crafting, imagine having to care for your mount, having to upkeep them, feed them, and having things that you level up while doing so. I think ideas in that vein would serve the game overall for what it's trying to do. At the end of the day, when it comes to MMORPGs, I don't really want them to add quality of life just willy-nilly. And not that I'm not asking for quality of life for the game. There's a few things that I think would overall benefit, and we'll talk about those in future videos. But I think essentially I don't want them to hand me anything. One of the things that Anthem did wrong, out of the many things, but one of the things that really did, is that there was a patch where they just increased flying time across the board. And I was like, why isn't that a quest? Why isn't that something I level up and unlock? Why can't I just work on that? Because this is that RPG, and not everybody likes RPGs. So a lot of people might be playing this game because of the hype and because people are enjoying it, and they're like, oh, let me go check it out. But when it comes down to it, like, give me something to grind on. And I think that ultimately will be what I look forward the most to. So hopefully you guys like my thoughts here. It's like, I'm just sitting here just like spitballing what I would love to see, especially as it relates to the future of the game itself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. But we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for being here. You are awesome. I hope to see you in my next one. But until then, take care.